All right, in these videos, I'll be sharing with you 13 simple transitions to create instant interest in your tracks. Using transitions in your songs can be extremely helpful for keeping listeners engaged and keeping your tracks sounding interesting because our brains are wired to figure out patterns, and people's brains are more likely to turn off and tune out when it figures out what the pattern is. Now, there are tracks out there that are pretty simple sounding and the pattern is really easy to pick out. However, the reason that they do so well is because they make use of transitions and it interrupts our brain from figuring out what that pattern is. So as new information keeps getting introduced, our brain continues to think that there's a new pattern and wants to keep listening. And the very first transition that I'll be covering is what I call the solo transition. What I have here is a remix that I did for an artist by the name of B.O.B. on a track called Middleman. So a solo transition is when you just have one sound playing between one section and the next. So I'm going to start with this beginning section right here where it leads from the intro kind of chorus into the verse. So the only thing that you're going to hear here in between where the snare drops out and the snare comes back in over here, and if you look down here where all this other stuff comes in at, there's kind of a gap in here except for the vocals that are playing right here. So there's only going to be one thing playing for that split second as it leads into the next part of the song where all these extra drum sounds and other things come in at. And I'll just play you what that sounds like.
Smile on your face, all nice to the motherfucker. Soon as they thought I fell off, niggas true color shine bright in the motherfucker. Bright in the motherfucker. They hate me to the mimi, then I hype in the motherfucker. Hype in the motherfucker. That's cool, we was never cool anyway. Yeah.
So you can hear it's a really brief kind of solo transition, but it's nice to kind of drop all those things out and then add a bunch of stuff back in. This can give your listener the feeling of a kind of a greater impact when those sounds come back in.